If something happened to you tonight, who would run your business tomorrow morning? Most business owners answer that question quickly. The problem is, they're often confusing documents with a plan, and those are not the same thing. In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 questions that determine whether you actually have a succession plan or just a stack of paperwork. Most successful business owners are really good at solving problems, and that's how they became successful. They solve customer problems, they solve employee problems, they solve operational problems, they build, they grow, they create value. But there's one problem many owners don't spend enough time solving. What happens when they're no longer the person leading the business? Because eventually, every business owner faces that moment. Maybe it's retirement, maybe it's a transition to the next generation, maybe it's a sale, or maybe it's something unexpected. But the transition, it will come. And the question is, will your family, your employees, and your business be prepared when it happens? The reason I bring this up is because I've seen many successful owners who have done almost everything right. They built great companies, they accumulated wealth, they created opportunities for many people. But when we looked at what would happen if they weren't there tomorrow, there were gaps. And those gaps are where problems begin. Now, let me introduce you to John. John is a composite of situations I've seen with many business owners. He spent more than 30 years building a successful company. He'd done a lot of things right. The company was profitable. His employees respected him. His customers trusted him. He had created significant value. And like many successful owners, John had documents. He had an estate plan. He had business agreements. He had advisors. And he assumed he was prepared. But when we started asking different questions, something became clear. The question wasn't, do you have documents? The question was, what actually happens the day after you're gone? Who steps in? Who makes decisions? Who communicates with employees? Who talks with your customers? How does the family receive income? How does the business continue operating? And that's where many owners discover something important. Documents are not the same thing as a plan. A document sits in a file. A plan guides people through a real life situation. So if you want to know whether you truly have a plan, it comes down to these 3 questions. Question number 1, who is in control? If something happens to you tomorrow, who can step in and immediately lead? Not 6 months from now, not after everyone has time to figure things out, immediately. Who can talk with employees, make decisions, sign checks, keep the company moving? Because a business does not pause while people are trying to determine what happens next. If that answer is unclear, that is a real risk. Question number 2, who actually owns the business? This is where things can become a little more complicated than most people realize. The people who run the business, the people who own the business, and the people who inherit the business may not always be the same people. And when control and ownership become disconnected, problems can develop very quickly. You can have a situation where someone has ownership rights but doesn't have the ability to manage the business. Or someone is trying to manage a business that they don't actually own, and that can create tension. And it creates uncertainty at exactly the wrong time. Question number 3, where does liquidity come from? This is probably the question most owners underestimate, because a business can be very valuable and still create a cash problem. If something happens to you, your family may suddenly need liquidity, money for taxes, debt, business expenses, income replacement, a partner buyout, some other obligation. And the challenge is that the greatest asset you own may not be easy to turn into cash quickly. It probably isn't. A valuable business is not automatically a liquid business. And that distinction, it matters. Now, this is where I've seen things go wrong. I've seen spouses inherit businesses they were never involved in running, and suddenly they're responsible for decisions they never expected to make. I've seen partnerships where something unexpected happens and the remaining partners are forced to figure everything out in real time. And I've seen companies that were doing very well slow down because nobody had a clear transition plan. And again, not because anyone did something wrong. The owner was successful. The business was doing great. The problem was simply that no one had taken the time to coordinate what happens in these situations. So a real plan is not complicated in concept. It answers the three questions we just discussed. Who's in control? Who owns this? Where does liquidity come from? But it also goes one step further. It connects all the pieces together. The legal documents, the financial resources, the ownership structure, the leadership transition, the family conversations. Because these things don't exist separately in real life, they all work together. The goal is not simply protecting a business. The goal is protecting the people who depend on that business. Your family, your employees, your customers, the people who helped you build what you created. If you're watching this and thinking, I'm not completely sure how this would actually play out in my situation, that's where many successful business owners are, and that's okay. The first step is not solving every issue today. The first step is understanding that there could be some gaps. And if you'd like help thinking through your situation, I invite you to schedule a free 15-minute strategy call with me. You can go to hopewellconsult.com. You'll answer a few quick questions so we can make sure we're a good fit. And if it looks like I can help, you'll be able to schedule a time directly with me. I'm on a mission to empower serious business owners to make great decisions about their legacy. Build it, protect it, pass it on.